Alright, so in the last video we created our user registration route and we created the form. We handled the form errors if it's submitted and there's nothing filled in or anything like that. In this video I want to expand on that and build our user model. Alright, so using a model in a single file like this, it's not required. But when you're using Mongoose, you have to kind of define your schema at the application level, and that's where generally you want to do it is in the model. Alright, so we're using a model in this project, but we may not for the next, is basically what I'm trying to say. Alright, so we want to go to the project folder, and I'm going to create a new folder called models, and I'm going to create a new file and call that user.js. Models are typically singular. Alright, so we'll open that up, and we need to include that file in our app.js file, which I don't have open. Actually, I'm sorry, we want to include it in the user route, so users.js. And I'm going to go right here and create a variable, and I'm going to give it a uppercase U for in user, just because models should generally be uppercase and singular. Alright, so all we have to do here is require the file that it's in. So require, we're going to say /models/user. Alright, and that should give us the user model to work with down here. Alright, so let's go back to the model page, and we need to include Mongoose, and that's going to be require the Mongoose module. And let's see, we need our database connection, so variable db equals mongoose.connection. Alright, and then under here is where we need to define our schema. So to do this, we're going to give it a variable called user schema, and we're going to set that to mongoose dot schema. Alright, and then in here we're going to provide a bunch of options, and this is going to be the fields that we want. So we want username, and that's going to be a type string. Alright, so you have to define what type of field it's going to be. And also if you want an index, which in this case we do. So we'll say index true. Alright, next field is going to be password. Alright, and that will be also type string. And with that, let's make it, actually no, that's fine. That's fine for now. As I said before, you do not want to store plain text passwords in your database, but just at this point we'll probably do without the encryption first, just to make sure it's working, and then we'll add the encryption after. Okay, so next we have email. Okay, type is going to be string, and then we have name. And that will also be string. And we have a profile image. Now we're not actually storing the image in the database, it's just a reference to the image name so that we can include it in our image paths. Alright, so this will be a string as well. So they're all strings. Alright, and then down here we're going to say variable user is equal to module.exports equals mongoose.model user, and we want to provide the schema, which is user schema. Alright, so that basically what this is doing is it's going to make this object available to us outside of this file. Alright, so where we're declaring it right here, okay, so it's making it so that we can actually use this. Now let's just define which functions we want the user model to handle. Alright, so the first one, now we're going to start these with module.exports so that they're available to us outside of this file. Alright, so I see the first one we should do is the create user. And that's going to basically register the user for us. So we'll say dot create user. Okay, actually we just want to equal this to a function. And this is going to take a few parameters. It's going to take a user object, so new user, which we'll define in users, which I think did we do that? We did. All right, so you can see that in the route for posting to register, we actually created right here new user, and we're just passing in all the fields that came in from the form. And then down here we're going to submit this, okay, with this right here. Okay, I commented it out, but this is basically going to submit to the function we're creating now. Okay, so new user and then a callback. And let's see, what do we want to do here? Basically, we're just going to say new user dot save. And we're going to pass through here the callback. Alright, so that's basically it for now. When we do the encryption, we'll do some more stuff in this function, but for now it's just going to save a user. So I think this might work now. So I'm going to save that and then go here and uncomment this stuff. Alright, so hopefully that will work. We'll save it, and you want to make sure you restart your server. Alright, so we're getting some kind of error here. Unexpected token. I think that's in the user file, and right here, this semicolon shouldn't be here. Alright, so we'll go to register, make sure it's reloaded. And let's just give it a shot. So name and email. Username, I'll just say Brad. Password 1234. And for an image, I'm just going to leave it blank for now. Register. Okay, so it took us to the members area. Now we need to check and see if it actually happened. Alright, so what we need to do is go into a command prompt, and we're going to use the Mongo shell. So we're going to go cd, going to go to the root, and then we need to go to MongoDB, and I think it's server. No, it's bin. cd bin, and we'll run Mongo. Alright, and let's just use, actually let's say show DBs, and we want to use node auth, and let's see, what do we want to do? We want db dot, actually let's do a show collections. Okay, so we have users, so db dot users dot find, and we'll make it pretty. Okay, so BradTraversy. Now I don't think that's not right. No. You know what I'm going to do is delete everything in here for now. So db.users.remove, and then we're just going to put in here just an empty curly braces. And now if we try to see them, you can see we have no more users. Alright, so what do we do now? Let's take a look at the log, or the console, which doesn't seem to give us anything. I'm going to do a little bit of debugging and I will be back. Alright guys, so I think I found the problem, and it's a pretty big one that we missed, and that is to actually connect to the database. Alright, between these two here, these two steps, we need to say mongoose. We haven't been telling the model which database to use or which collection or anything like that. So we need mongoose.connect, and you want to pass in MongoDB and localhost, and then the name of the database, which is Node.js. Alright, so that's a very important step. So let's go ahead and restart, and hopefully now it will work. So register, username, just say Brad, password, register. Alright, so now you can see that in the console the user is getting logged back to us, so it should have worked. So to double check, we'll go ahead and say db_users_find, and there it is. Alright, you can see that profile image actually has the name noimage.png because we didn't select an image. So all you would have to do is upload that to your images file. I'm sorry, your uploads folder. Alright, so that's good. So I think I'll stop this video here, and in the next one we're going to implement the login functionality, and we're going to be using another module called Passport, which will allow us to define a local login strategy. And then finally we'll handle access control, because we don't want anyone to just be able to go to the members area. We want them to be logged in, so we have to check the session, and if not, then just redirect them to the login page. So we will be doing that next.